and welcome to Mrs. Brookover's Art Channel. Today we are going to draw a dinosaur, and I'm so excited to draw this with you kids today. I was inspired by our read aloud done by our librarian over at Oro Grande. We don't eat our classmates, and I thought how fun would it be to draw a dinosaur to go with that story. And if you haven't heard that book, I'll link another YouTube video on here that you can go ahead and listen to that read aloud. It's very cute. So to begin, we are going to be in about the middle of your paper, and I'm going to start with a rectangle kind of shape, but my corners are rounded instead of perfectly 90-degree angles. There's a little bit of a curve to them. And right in the middle of that, I'm going to make a big curved line going down and up. Down and up. And this is going to be part of our dinosaur's body, and this will be the head. Now from this back right corner on the bottom, we are going to draw another curved line, kind of following the line we just made, down and up to connect. So now we have a tail, we have our dinosaur's head, we have a body, and now we're going to add some legs. So just about in the middle, I'm going to make a curved line, kind of like a C down, and then we're going to make some jagged toes. Lots of dinosaurs had claws on their feet to help them defend themselves, but also to help their feet grip into the ground. So I'm just going to make some little clawed toes. And you can see I now have this line for the body going through my leg. So I'm just going to erase that little bit of a line so my leg is in the front. And for the other leg, I'm going to imagine that it's mostly hidden behind my front leg. So I'm just drawing a little bit of the back foot there. You can just barely see it sticking out. And we are going to draw some triangle shaped spikes down our dinosaur's back. And these can be big, small, you can make them all the same, you can make them a little bit different. I'm going to make mine getting a little bit smaller as I get closer to the end of my tail, but you can make yours differently if you like. And then this is going to be a cartoon style dinosaur, so a little bit comical. And I'm going to, for my dinosaur's mouth, make him a little bit grumpy looking. So I see some of his teeth sticking up. And for the eyes, I'm going to actually have both eyes on the same side of the head, just to make it look a little bit silly and angry. But of course, if this were an actual head, then the other eye would be on the opposite side. But just for fun, I'm going to make my two eyes on the same side. Add some little pupils. And then we're just missing some arms. So for my arms, I'm going to make these short, kind of like a T-Rex. T-Rex had very short front arms. And this is just for fun. It's just a fun little sketch, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And there is my dinosaur. Now we are going to color. And remember kids, I want you to use whatever you have available at home. So if you have crayons, you can use crayons, you can use markers, colored pencils. Today, I'm actually going to outline my dinosaur with crayons and then use watercolor paint to paint the inside of my dinosaur. Also remember, if you need to see any of those steps again, go ahead and rewind and pause whenever you need to. You're working at your own pace. And remember, you can make your dinosaur whatever color or colors you would like. It's up to you. If you want to have a purple dinosaur, you go right ahead and have a purple dinosaur. I am going with a light yellowish green. for the main part of my dinosaur's body. And I'm outlining with my crayon, and I'm pushing pretty hard so that I'm getting a lot of color on my paper. That'll create this wax border so that when I go to paint, my paint will stay inside those lines. And I'm also going to outline my arm with crayon and the other arm. And I'm going to make the very front of my dinosaur yellow, I think, today. And I want my spikes to be dark green. And again, this is your artistic choice. I want you to have fun. I want you to create something that makes you smile today. That's what we're going for. I'm going to leave my dinosaur's teeth white, and I'm going to leave my eyes alone for now as well. I'm just going to paint around the eyes. So at this time, I'm going to outline my teeth and also the eyes with my crayon so that, again, my watercolor paint doesn't go into those spaces that I don't want the paint to be in. And again, if you don't have paint at home, that's okay. Use what you have available. I just wanted to show you another option. And if you have paint that's not watercolor paint, if you have a different kind of paint and your family says you can use that to paint your picture, you can absolutely do that too. So remember, for watercolor paint, you need water. It's implied in the name. And you stir the water into your paint palette. And then you can paint it on your paper. And if you're doing this crayon resist technique like I am today, then you'll see that the watercolor paint won't paint over the crayon because it's wax and the wax resists the water. And it's also fun that with watercolor paint, you can mix multiple colors together if you like. Remember, we did that on our color wheel in class, if you were in my class this year, where we used our primary colors and combined them to make our secondary colors. Or the bigger kids, we used primary and secondary colors to make our tertiary colors. My primary colors, of course, are red, yellow, and blue. And my secondary colors are orange, green, and purple. And if you want to mix your colors, just remember to rinse out that paintbrush in between colors so that you don't mix them in your actual paint palette. And now I'm going to give this just a minute to dry and we'll come right back. Alright, so I've let my dinosaur dry out a little bit. It's not all the way dry, but dry enough that I can work on adding a little bit of landscape. So I'm going to have a horizon line, which is where the sky meets the ground. So here's where my ground is, here's where my sky is going to be above that horizon line. And just for fun, going behind my dinosaur, I'm going to make this diagonal line going up to an oval kind of shape for a crater. I wonder if anybody has deduced what it is I'm trying to make yet. I'm going to go back and darken up some of my lines so you can see them better. It's a volcano! So I'm going to have some ash coming out of my volcano. I'm going to add some lava flowing down the sides. You know, when I was a kid, I was always really confused about the difference between lava and magma. Magma is the same thing as lava, except it's called magma when it's still underground, under the Earth's crust, and it's called lava when it erupts out over the Earth's crust, but they're actually the same thing. So now I can go ahead and add some color and some paint and have a whole lot of fun with my background. I was fortunate enough to go to Hawaii a few years ago, and the Hawaiian Islands are made from volcanic activity, meaning that the islands were actually formed by volcanoes erupting and all of that lava cooling and creating an island, which I think is so interesting. And so the island is covered in lava rock, which once the lava cools down after it's come out of the volcano, it hardens into rock, and you can use it for all kinds of building things. A lot of people in Hawaii use lava rock to make walls, similar to how here in Havasu a lot of people have rock walls in their backyard made out of concrete. A lot of people there have rock walls made out of lava rock instead, which I think is pretty interesting. Let's see, I need some green. I'm going to add a few little sprigs of grass, just kind of sporadically. I'm imagining that where my dinosaur is, there's not a whole lot of vegetation. There's not a lot growing here at the base of this volcano, because I'm imagining that it erupted fairly recently. So I'm just making some little sprigs of grass here and there, but not too much. And you could do this differently. If you want to add trees for your dinosaur to hide in, you could absolutely do that. I would love to see you get creative. And we're going to have some red as well. I hope you kids are having fun today. I'm having fun. And again, I'm going to go over this with paint. If you don't have paint, that is okay. Go ahead and use what you have. You could actually, if you use crayon and then marker, because markers are water-based, they'll react kind of similarly to paint. So you'll still be able to go over the crayon with your marker and still see the crayon. So you can still do something similar and have some fun with that. I'm making my ground kind of a combination of green and brown. Green in some places, brown in others. You can tell where I'm going over. See how I'm painting right over my crayon? And it doesn't cover the crayon. Always remember to rinse your brush in between colors so you don't mix them all up in your paint palette. If you're changing colors, just always rinse out that brush in your water cup. And if you are using paint, just make sure that you're on a surface that's not going to be damaged by water. So I'm right now on my little plastic art table that's super easy to clean up. If it gets wet, it's not going to damage the table. I would not be using watercolor paint on, say, a wooden kitchen table. That would not be the best place to do that. Just check with your families. Your families, I'm sure, will have an area in the house for you that would be a little bit better to use for these purposes. Really take your time when you're going around your dinosaur. Make sure that you don't accidentally paint into your dinosaur. Because I used paint on both my dinosaur and now I'm using it for my landscape as well, water molecules like to bond together. So if you go over that crayon line, the watercolor paint is going to want to bond together and mix your colors together, which could be a cool effect if that's what you're going for. If that's not what you're going for, though, just be a little bit cautious, extra cautious, when you're going around your dinosaur. I just realized I didn't outline this side. There we go. I'm going to use some red and orange for my lava. And it'll just give a little bit of a different color. Right now we have a lot of earthy tones, green, brown. And red will just be a little bit of a contrasting color. And red and green look so nice together because they're what kind of colors? I would love to see who remembers. If you want to either write it on your project or email me. What kind of colors are red and green? I'll give you one hint. The answer that I'm looking for is not Christmas colors, but good try if that's what you were thinking. Are they primary colors, secondary colors, complementary colors? I would love to see what you kids remember. All right, and now I think I'm just going to paint my sky with some nice blue. Let's see, this might be a little dark. And again, just like on the ground, if you want to mix a few different colors for the sky, you are welcome to do so. This is your creative work of art. So if you want to mix in some blues and purples, you can do that. And if you want to imagine that this is sunset time and you want to use some of your warm colors like reds, oranges, and yellows, you are welcome to do that as well. Be creative, have fun. I'm going to mix in a little bit of purple right around the top of my volcano to make it a little bit darker. Nice dark indigo kind of color. And there is my prehistoric painting resistance with wax crayon masterpiece of the week. I hope you had fun with me today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing a picture of your work. We will see you next time. Bye.